What we know is that this woman worked across two hotels in Darling Harbour. The first was the Ibis and the second one is the Novotel where I am now. And the Novotel is actually a police quarantine hotel. Now, urgent genome sequences is currently taking place to try and confirm whether this woman picked up the virus at the hotel in quarantine or whether she actually picked it up in the community. So we expect to get those results within 24 to 48 hours. We also know that 5 household contacts of this woman were tested for the virus overnight. They've all come back with a negative test, but they are needing to go into isolation for 14 days. Now, there's also the concern about all the staff that were working at the same time as this woman while she was potentially infectious. So staff at the Ibis on the 27th of November and staff who were working at the Novotel on the 28th, 29th and 30th of November, they are needing to be tested and go into isolation. And then New South Wales Health is also conducting wider testing amongst the staff at both hotels, even if they weren't necessarily there at the same time. Now, we're still trying to piece together this woman's movements. What we do know is that she lived in southwest Sydney and she caught the train to work several times while potentially infectious from Minto to Central, and then she caught the light rail from Central to Darling Harbour. New South Wales Health is going to release later today more details about the exact services which she was on, and people who are on those services are going to need to isolate as well. But let's hear from the New South Wales Health Minister, Brad Hazzard.
We'd found one more case here in Sydney of COVID-19. We actually had up until 8 p.m. last night. It was we would have been saying today was our 26th day, and it is our 26th day without any cases, but we now have one case. And this particular lady worked in 2 hotels in Sydney. Right. She worked at the Novotel and the Ibis at Darling Harbour. One of those is a police quarantine hotel.
And Alexia, earlier this morning when you started out working around 6 o'clock this morning, you were running through all these easing of restrictions, and there's been so much optimism, positivity about the situation Australia-wide and in New South Wales. So this case has come as a bit of a wake-up call. But take us through what's happening with the easing of restrictions.
Yeah, it certainly has, Joe. It just shows that this pandemic is an absolute roller coaster and we can't celebrate too quickly. The government had announced all these easing of restrictions. Particularly a really important one was the 4 square metre rule for all venues was being reduced to the 2 square metre rules, and that was going to have fabulous results for the economy, especially across the entertainment sector, the sports sector, the hospitality sector. And yes, we had gone 26 days with no locally acquired cases. We were edging towards that official definition of elimination with 28 days, but it just shows that we can't necessarily pursue an elimination approach. It's a suppression approach. The New South Wales government has always been very clear that this is a roller coaster, that cases will pop up like this from time to time, and we do need to be ready. We do need to be vigilant. Now, we don't know if this latest case will actually have any implications on these eased restrictions. We certainly can't call this a major outbreak at this stage. Contact tracers are working very quickly to try and contain the situation, and we're hoping to hear from the government later today about what this all means.
Yeah, so Alexia, there'll be a lot of interest in that media conference today by New South Wales authorities. They've generally been holding that about around 11 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Is there any indication today as to exactly when that happens? Because we'll bring that to our viewers live.
I don't have any notification yet. I will bring that to you as soon as I can. I'll let you know, Joe. And yeah, I'm sure many people will be very interested to tune in.
Yep. Okay, Alexia Atwood reporting there from Sydney.